Now, many parents across Australia have been homeschooling their kids and, well, it just hasn't been easy. But those challenges can be compounded for parents who have kids on the autism spectrum.
Often people with autism struggle to cope with change, and so it's been particularly difficult to adjust to this new way of life that we're living. For more, we're joined by Kathrine Peereboom, who's the founder of Spectrum Support. Kathrine, good to see you this morning. Thanks for joining us. First off, tell us a bit about your personal situation. How have you been managing at home?
Oh, look, to be honest with you, it's been quite a roller coaster ride. We've had some really wonderful days where the kids have just really settled into the home environment and thrived. And then we've had some really, really challenging days where there have been lots of tears and the kids have cried too. So it's definitely a roller coaster ride, but my husband and I have worked really hard to try and just implement a few strategies to give the boys a little bit more structure, which seems to be working.
So you've got boys with autism. What does an average day look like for you?
It depends if Joshua has slept through the evening, but mostly our days begin at about 4:45 a.m. and the vocal noises and the vocal stimming starts from about then, and from about 6:30 the house is in full swing. The kids are beautiful. They love music, they love to sing, they love to dance, they like a little bit of wrestling and mucking around with us. But getting them to engage in any type of educational material that involves tabletop tasks is a huge, huge challenge, which is where I want to say a big thank you to our educators out there. I think every parent across the country, across the world right now, is thanking all the teachers and all the educators out there for the job that they do. So the days are really hard. My son Joshua recently went on a 30+ hour food strike simply because I couldn't source the foods that he does eat in a grocery store. And we've seen some really not typical behaviours from the boys, just with built-up frustration, which has resulted in bleeding nose and a dislocated finger and some bruises, pretty much aimed at me most of the time. So the days can be colourful.
Colourful to say the least. You sound like you're doing a very good job under the circumstances. Is part of the problem here the fact the adjustment to the change and the change in routine? Has that been a difficult thing for them to manage?
Absolutely. My boys are non-verbal, and whilst their comprehension is quite good, they thrive in routine and they thrive in structure. So not being able to get on their bus in the morning, getting their school uniform ready, going and spending the day with their friends and their peers, it's been a really difficult adjustment for them. And whilst we've tried with visual aids and conversations to explain to them that, look, we're just going to be hanging at home for a little while and mummy's going to help you out and daddy's going to help you out with some of your schooling, it doesn't really resonate for them. So that's where a lot of the challenges really start to show.
Kathrine, has there been any surprising elements or any positives that perhaps you didn't expect in this time?
Absolutely. We're learning so many things from our boys, and what we've done is we've readjusted our house a little bit to, deal with the current climate that we're in. So our double garage, we've pulled the cars out and we've made that a space for the kids. And we've got dancing setups, and they're teaching us really cool things that they've learned at school that I've never heard them do before. And so there's absolutely lots of rewarding times, the snuggles in the morning, the extra cuddles, and throughout the day. So there's lots of wonderful positive things.
Have you got any advice for other parents who might be in a similar situation to you and who are struggling at this time?
Absolutely. So there's a couple of tips that I can happily provide. The first thing that I would do is create a schedule. Create a schedule that is a Monday to Friday, or Monday to Sunday, and explain in pictures or visuals what you expect from your child every single day. So from brushing their teeth to helping out with, with chores in the home and when it's time for schooling. So routine and schedules are really fantastic. And as parents and carers, we know when our children are at their best. So utilise their best times. My boys are bright and sprightly first thing in the morning, and that's when I can get the best out of them. You've also got to know when to just throw that beautiful laminated schedule that you've worked so hard on out the window for the day and say, you know what, today's not going to be the day, so we're going to look at some other activities instead. If you're working full-time, like my husband and I are, learning how to use the mute button on a phone or on a Skype or team viewer scenario is going to be a godsend for you. I'm very honest and transparent whenever I'm dealing with anybody on the phone. So the first thing that comes out of my mouth is, I have 3 boys at home. They have special needs, and you're going to probably hear some noises from them that you wouldn't typically hear on a phone call. If I do need to get off the phone to address one of them, please understand, and I will call you back and reschedule. And I think if you're honest and transparent with your boss and with your clients, then you get that empathy and respect in return. I think also really separating those roles between, working from home and becoming that mum or dad or carer and school teacher. So you can fully commit to the role that you're in. So if I'm, spending time with the boys and going through their maths or their English, I'm not stressing about worrying and sending that email. But the final thing, and I guess one of the most important things, is mental health of everybody in your home is the number one priority. Family and mental health. If one of you is not having a good day, then stop everything. The laundry can wait, the beds don't need to be made. Let's throw the schedule out the window and let's just spend time bonding and being a family and getting that person back to their normal selves, where all sort of cooped up, and yes, it is unprecedented times at the moment, but everything else can wait. And the final thing, I know it's not really around homeschooling, but my husband and I have spent many years in isolation, 7 days a week, 24/7 with each other. And the one thing that has kept us united and more in love than ever before is the fact that we also make sure we have time for us as a couple. We have intimacy, we have conversations, that don't rely around anything else, and keeping that connection with your partner. When everybody is connected, then everybody is respectful and the days flow in a fun way.
Kathrine, I am in awe of you and how you're managing. You sound like you're doing a brilliant job. We'll leave it there. Thanks very much for joining us. That's Kathrine Peereboom, from the founder of Spectrum Support, and all the best over the coming weeks and months.
Thank you so much for your time.
Wow, it puts into perspective certainly my life and what other people are dealing with, doesn't it? When you hear her circumstances, and she just sounds like she's so on top of things and just processing every day. And I think that advice of taking it each day as it comes and assessing each day and what needs to be done each day as it comes, because each day is going to be different.
And I think that's really important, to be able to kind of talk to people like Kathrine as well, just to be able to put your own problems, as you say, into perspective. I mean, you may wake up, and we're all going through ups and downs, right, with this particular pandemic. And, there are days when you wake up and you just think, I can't deal with this any longer. You just have to know that there are people who have it a lot worse. We don't want to sound like we're preaching or anything, but Kathrine there, with all of her bravery, her courage, and strength and determination as well, to be able to provide a safe and structured home for her 3 boys.
And the strength of her boys as well, because it's not easy for them to be going through this as well and to be adjusting to the change in routine, and even things like just catching the bus every day or eating a certain diet. That can be really, really significant for people on the autism spectrum.
Yeah.
And so to have those routines upended, we're all struggling with that, but those people in particular find that really difficult.
Absolutely. You just don't think about it, do you? Like, you feel like if you miss out on a particular thing in your life, your routine, you just kind of go, well, that's gone. But then for people on the autism spectrum, they really do need that routine and structure.
Great to hear from Kathrine there. Do stay with us. Coming up on Weekend Breakfast.